Hello again, everyone. Edwin Learnard back once again. In this YouTube astrological segment, I'm going to be talking about transit Saturn making a square opposition or inconjunct aspect to one's natal south node. Now, when we're talking about transits that involve Saturn, they can be about limitations, restrictions, responsibilities, duties, delays, uh, obstructions, sorrows, despondency, fears, and inhibitions. Now, when transit Saturn is basically making an adverse aspect to one's natal south node. Now, when I say basically adverse aspect, I'm going to elaborate on that. Well, the thing is, squares and oppositions in astrology, of course, are adverse and negative aspects. Now, the inconjunct is neutral, but it can have good and bad qualities in it. And also, too, when you have an inconjunct aspect, it can often involve an adjustment, a transition. So it can cause some exasperation, some tension. So collectively, I'm saying basically this is, for me, I see it as an adverse transit. Um, the thing about this is now, yeah, when transit Saturn is basically making an adverse aspect to one's natal south node, well, this could manifest in limitations, restrictions, responsibilities, duties, delays, obstructions, sorrow, despondency, fear, and inhibitions. These things may conflict. It could be with the past, it could be with somebody that you knew from the past that you might be trying to rekindle a connection with. It could be a business maybe you were involved in the past, or some career. Maybe somebody is contacting you and wants you to do come back, even if it's for a brief sojourn, as far as a career related matter may go. And it could be where the current responsibilities, the work you have to do, may derail this, or I should say may conflict with this. Maybe you're just, it could be something where you're just feeling despondent or somewhat negative, and you just don't want to be bothered with this at this point in time. Or there might be some delays in some cases in getting in touch with somebody you may have known from the past. Say that the natal south node is in Scorpio. It could be a Scorpio sun, moon, or ascendant person, or someone that simply embodied those characteristics, or somebody that had maybe a transforming effect on you, or was in a Scorpio-like position, such as like working as a coroner or a surgeon, or as some investigator. Somebody that might have just been very complex. It could have been also too, when you look at this as well, the South Node can be connected with past lives, if that is what you believe. Now, if you're a believer in that, and then it might be a situation where you might feel, this time maybe there's somebody you feel you may have known, from a past life. Maybe there's some delay in getting in contact with this person. Maybe it's something. I mean, Saturn is also about sorrows, and maybe there's something where you feel that there was some kind of there was a connection with this person from the past, and that might have caused you maybe some pain or some kind of suffering. If that is what you actually believe, now I respect those that have that belief in the past lives, and of course those that do not. Uh, it can also be, I mean, the South Node is about what we're going away from. So it might be more of a laborious effort, a struggle to go away from something that we're trying to get away from. I mean, say if the natal South Node, say, is in Leo in the 10th house as an example, it could be like a domineering or bombastic, arrogant authority figure, or an older person, even the dominant parent, which is often the father. Um, and again, the South Node is what can be about what we're leaving behind. And the thing about it is, it might be more of a struggle or an arduous effort to leave certain things behind, something behind at this time, trying to get away from something. Remember, the South Node can be connected with where our comfort zone, where we feel at home with. It's not something that we really need, that really for the for the future, which of course is the north node placement. The south node is something where if we cling to it or hang on to it too much, it may be to our detriment. Even if we're naturally, even if we there may be natural, you might be something you're naturally proficient in, but it doesn't mean it's going to necessarily really be beneficial to you in the long run. And the thing about this is that it could be harder to leave that south node energy behind. And this is something where, I mean, again, it could be a lot of hard labor just trying to do so at this time, or there might be some delay in doing this at this point in time for whatever reason. Now, the south node can also be connected with those overdeveloped and redundant qualities. I mean, say if you have the south node in Virgo, it could even be like very, very critical, judgmental energy, over analyzing, like the astrologer that is looking for the dwad within the dwad kind of thing. It might be, it's something where it might be harder to get away from those qualities at this time. Maybe there's a father or an authority figure, an older person that really does not agree with us at this point in time. The south node Virgo can also be, sometimes it might manifest in hypochondriac type tendencies or energy. It might be, very, again, very negative attitude, or critical or judgmental nature. And another thing too is that the south node can also, I see this as could be like the very negative manifestation of the sign. It could be a very negative, expression of the zodiac sign it is in. And those things where if you feel there's a responsibility to doing this, it might be harder to take that responsibility at this time and get away and really just get away from it. And might be something where there might be something that might be, some sorrow or something that's causing despondency or dejection or sadness that might be exacerbating the negative qualities of that south node placement at this time. If you have the south node in Taurus as an example, it could be bringing out overly stubborn or maybe even greedy or avaricious qualities. It may make you if there's something that's causing some sadness in your life, maybe it's affecting, if the south node is in Libra, it might be having, more, or you have the south node in the 7th house. The south node in Libra or the 7th house can be like really, about having, negative, south node Libra especially, like a real superficial, charm, I would say. It could be, all kinds of ambivalence. I would say more with the south node in Libra, is more, can be very ambivalent and decisive energy. And there might be something, there's some sadness is maybe making this come out just a little bit more, than what it, than it ordinarily would at this time. And Saturn is, very, it can be very negative energy, and if you're feeling very negatively, and I would say too, the south node in Libra, in a very negative manifestation can almost be like that, somebody that might get embroiled, in lawsuits, almost like a compulsive suer. And if something, Saturn, is very sad energy, I think sometimes it can manifest even in some kind of agitation in some cases. And it might make you feel, well, if you start ruminating or lamenting over, relationship from the past or something where you felt like maybe you were hurt in a situation, and you could have maybe sued somebody over it and you didn't do it. And it might be where it might bring out that energy and decide to do it, even if it's over something that's you feel might be trivial, as an example. Now, Another thing too about the South Node, um, remember it's not. I mean, it could be the negative manifestation of the sign, but it can affect somebody to their, it's something energy that could affect one to their detriment. And the thing about this is, when you look at this, this transit and looking at what Saturn's about, um, it might be something where you might be having a harder time maybe getting away from that energy that might be affecting you to your detriment at this time. Hold on a moment, people. It might be a situation where, I mean, South Node, again, in astrology, can be about what might be affecting that person to their detriment. Now, if you have some kind of career or some kind of responsibilities or laborious work that needs to be done, it might be something where it's not. It may be not, something that may be difficult to get away from, or maybe even the work that you're doing, maybe that could be harder to get away from, or it may be something that might be affecting you to your detriment. Now, another way this transit can manifest, it could be where one is apprehensive, again, going away from that comfort zone where one feels complacent. And say, for example, if the South Node, natal South Node is in Taurus in the 4th house as an example, it might be maybe there's something in the very peaceful and stability, having persistence and calmness, which is Taurus, in the home life, which is the 4th house. It might be something too where it might be more of a laborious effort to do things that you're naturally proficient. And I do believe the South Node can be an area where we not only we feel comfortable in, but we can actually flourish in, though we're not supposed to stay with it and during when we hit our, especially that second part of our lives, like around age 35 or later. And say if the South Node is in Virgo as an example, it can be really, say if it's in Virgo in the 11th house, to be more specific, as an example, maybe there's something where one's naturally proficient in defragging or compartmentalizing, which is Virgo, something with computers, which is the 11th house. And in some cases too, this could be where a father or an authority figure or an older person may be averse to those redundant, you could say those redundant, overdeveloped qualities of the placement. Say if the South Node is in Cancer as an example, natal South Node is in Cancer, the zodiac sign Cancer, it can be where somebody might be very overprotective of somebody and maybe constantly asking if they need to be cared for, and it might come off in an officious or unwanted manner. It could be somebody that's overly emotional to the point where they're constantly reacting emotionally or in a sensitive manner, say to criticism or ridicule, or somebody that's hoarding nearly compulsively things that are nostalgic or connected with history. And those are things, as an example, if somebody has the South Node in Cancer and you have this transit where, again, a father, an authority figure, an older person might be very, much against this. And also, too, another way this transit may be expressed is it could be that responsibilities may conflict, perhaps with the dealings with somebody from your past. Say if the South Node, natal South Node is in Sagittarius as an example, it may be a Sagittarius sun, moon, or ascendant person, or simply one that may embody Sagittarius characteristics. It might be somebody that's really expansive or jocular, effervescent and very positive and expansive, or somebody that might be involved strongly with the outdoors or sports or religion or philosophy, maybe a college professor as an example. Anyway, people, that'll conclude this YouTube astrological segment. Until next time, Edwin Learnard saying stay well.